So in 2024, you went into Scotland, UK, Italy, France. This year, you've won the BWR Openweight title. Crazy 2 years, right?
Just about, mate. Yeah, crazy. Yeah, very, very thankful for all of it.
Yeah, absolutely. If you could sum your whole career up, though, obviously in one word, based on even including everything else, how would you describe it?
In one word, passion. I just the only reason I'm able to do anything to do with wrestling, anything at all, is just passion.
Love it. Absolutely love it and stuff like that. Of course, we're talking to HMD, also known as Hardman Dan. I love the initials like that. Is that something which is like just like kicked off from the beginning, or is it something like over time?
So I think since I started the name Adman Dan, like people have always said like HMD, but it's not something I pushed to use on shows or to like use as marketing or branding. It's only in the real last year or two that I've really started to push it. And I don't know why I'm so weird on it, but I really am. If I ever type HMD, I need to do it with the dots. I don't know why. I don't know what it is, but it's like it needs to be like HMD because I don't know what it is. I don't know if my brain thinks no, people are going to think my name's Humada. They're not going to say it properly. Which some people, one person in particular, does call me Humada, but talk about that another time.
You've got,
But yeah, it's only
you've,
the last like year or two that I've really started to push the initials HMD.
I also I've just realised the fact I've not put the dots at the bottom.
Oh, fuming. Interview's over. That's enough.
Give me a second. Give me a second. I'll fix this. I'll fix this. Do you know what I mean? We've got to get this thingy.
It's fine.
There we go. Is that better?
That's all right.
HMD mean how's the week been doing? All right.
Next question. No, I'm joking. Yes. Yeah, it's been fun, mate. Absolutely. Yeah, just had a show last Saturday at Fight Factory Wrestling. That was a lot of fun. I got to wrestle best friend of like 7 years, Rogan from Reese and Rogan. Yeah, had a great time. So really enjoyed the weekend. Got another camp show tomorrow and another camp show on Sunday. So last weekend was great. This weekend's gonna be good too.
Awesome, awesome. Do you ever get time to yourself and obviously concert like obviously camp shows and everything?
Yeah, so of course, like obviously camp shows don't run throughout the entire year. It's just been the summer that it's like it started to pick up a lot recently with these camp shows. So I definitely get time to myself. It's weird. I spend my time to myself thinking about wrestling, and I spend my time away from wrestling, hanging out with friends, thinking about wrestling. It kind of like there's never a second of my day that doesn't go by where wrestling's not at least in there somewhere. Which is like sounds unhealthy, but like doesn't affect me in any negative way. If anything, like it gives me passion throughout the day. So not really a bad thing. But yeah, I definitely get time to myself. It's just, do I spend that time thinking about myself? No, I spend it thinking about HMD and wrestling.
Awesome. So let's obviously start at the beginning, dude. I mean, how did it all begin? What made you obviously want to get into it?
So I've been a wrestling fan since, it sounds so generic to say, but since before I can remember. But I really don't have that match or that moment in wrestling that like stood out to me and was like, now I'm hooked. I've just kind of always been here. I've always been a lover of wrestling. But my favorite wrestler ever, and who I can remember loving as a kid, is CM Punk. I love CM. You can see me getting giddy about it, but like that is my goat for life. I love that guy. But I just remember everything he used to do was just like, I just remember the way it made me feel. And that's the thing that I've always loved about wrestling, and that's the thing that like that's what drew me into it as a kid. Again, not a specific moment, but how certain things would make me feel. So I've always loved it since I was a kid, and I'd always say to my family like, "Oh, I'm going to be a wrestler one day," and they'd sort of be like, "Oh, that's cute," like when a kid says they're going to be an astronaut.
Mm-hmm.
But when I turned 14, I was speaking to mum about it. It's like, well, can we actually look? Can we actually try and find someone? She was like, fine. And luckily, I got super lucky with this. There was a place about 20 minutes from my house, NGW. They were running a school in Hull. So at 14, I went down there for my first training session. But I remember having like a splitting headache that day. And I only went to watch because there was a thing where it said, if you pay £5, you can come watch, see how things work, and then come back the next week. So I went down just to watch, and I was literally sat with my mum, this 14-year-old. And I just remember like everyone would bump and it'd just be like bang, bang. It was in a big sports hall, so it'd echo, like these lights were like yellow and like thingy on it. So I was like so overwhelmed. It was just like my head was killing just from watching it. So like instantly it's like, ooh, it looks like real rough. So my mom was like, oh, it looks a bit, ooh, do you still want to go? And the next week I was like, yeah, of course. So I came back the next week and I had my first session. And just to put in perspective here, I was a very, very unathletic kid. Like I was quite tall. I was like 5'10" at 14, which is like great. I've only grown like 3 inches since then. Nice one, maybe 2, 1.5 really. But I was out of shape. I had braces. I had long hair like down here, man. It was crazy. But I was unathletic. So when I was asked to do some rolls and do some bumps, my body did not want to do any of that. My mind did, my heart did, but my body didn't. So I was asked by my trainer to do like 20 rolls in a row, and I think that was a way of like initiating new people. To the point where I did 20 rolls in a row, and I got it done, but I threw up on the side of the ring.
Ooh.
In front of everyone. It was. If I saw someone do that now, I'd be like, I don't really know what to do. But that was me as a 14-year-old, shy, too nervous to say hi to anyone. I just threw up in front of everyone. So instantly people think, oh, kid's probably not going to come back the next week. But I came back the next week. Because again, going back to that passion, I loved wrestling. I loved how it made me feel. And it wasn't like I was just going to give up in an instant, because I was like, oh, it hurts a little bit. Oh, it's a bit physically demanding. Better stop it. It's like, well, no, like you can. A lot of people, when they find out that, like, people say that, like, oh no, I didn't realize how physically demanding it was until like I saw it on a show, and like I just kind of think, how could you not tell? Like how is it not obvious that it's very physically demanding, even though it is predetermined? How can you not tell that going through a table or just landing on your back is like that doesn't feel nice, So I knew it was going to be physically demanding, but I kept going anyways because I loved it. So that's when I first started. I first started at 14 years old. The way I got into it was just loving professional wrestling ever since I can remember. And CM Punk is the GOAT. Plain and simple.
Straight to the point. Who was the trainer at NGW? Was it Myers and Cruz?
Yes, it was Matt Myers and Nathan Cruz were the original two trainers. I think my first session was with Matt Myers. So he was my very first coach. He ran the more beginner sessions, and then Nathan ran the more advanced sessions, which took me like a few months to get to. But Nathan would always be around.
Awesome. So how do you go from there to like PPW?
So that took a few years, actually. So I started again at 14 at NGW. We stayed in this place called the Eastmount Centre where they'd run some shows. I stayed there for a few months. And no, I think they ran up until COVID happened. So I started training in 2018. That's when I was 14. And then 2020, obviously, everything shut down. So I didn't really have a place to train. But then another school opened after lockdown, which was still run by Nathan, or Nathan was a head trainer, but it was now BWR school rather than NGW, and that was the Evo Academy. So I spent 2 years training at NGW, then about 2 years training at BWR with Evo. I spent quite a lot of time there, but obviously with Nathan being my trainer for so many years, it got to a point where I was kind of, it's not that there wasn't anything else he could teach me, it's just that he always encouraged us to go out and find new mindsets, because if you're hearing the same mindset over and over and over, then you're just going to have one person's mindset rather than like these bits of knowledge from all over the place. So I started training at PPW with head coach Liam Slater, because I first went down there when they very first started in 2020, like when they were first like just in the warehouse with no branding or anything. I was down there a few times. So I'd go there every few months with like Jack Maxwell and Reese and Rogan. But yeah, it wasn't until like, I want to say 2022 where I started like going there weekly, and that became my main place. Because again, like I'd pick up something new from Liam every single week. And that's not to say I wouldn't pick up new things from Nathan. It's just obviously spent years around him. Liam's a new face for me. Liam's a new brain for me. I just felt I was learning a lot quickly. So yeah, I stuck with PPW for a while, and it wasn't till actually last year it got to a point where I felt so like wow, this is such a great place that like I can learn so much, I can gain so much from this. That last year I actually moved from Hull to Sheffield so that I could train there a lot more often, you know. So now I'm at a point where I'm training like 4 times a week, you know, 3-4 times a week, a lot of hours a week, just so I can like perfect footwork, perfect like in-ring psychology, positioning. You know, it's a lot of stuff where like I want to get to a point where in the ring I'm not just proud, but like I'm kind of undeniable in a way. You know, that's the point I want to get to, and it's not easy. And I feel like some people can pick it up quicker. I don't think I'm that kind of person. I feel like I really need to like focus on something and work at it for a long, long time, get those reps, and then I feel comfortable with it. So PPW is like, you know, that's how I got my way to PPW, and it's so great. It's just a community, really. You know what I mean? As much as it is a training facility, it's just you gain friendships from it. You know, you become comfortable there. You know what I mean? You can just hang around. You know, like I love training. I prefer training, but you can just hang around. You know, if you hurt your knee or something and you can't train, you can still just hang around. You know, be there with your mates. So it's a lovely place. I cannot say enough good things about PPW and the things that it's done for me. Like you mentioned Italy, France earlier the year, like PPW, that doesn't happen without that. I'm not saying I didn't work hard for both of them, but I just wouldn't have got the opportunity without them seeing me put that hard work in, you know, like Nathan Black. I'm sure he doesn't like being put over, but like he brought me to Italy, and I'll always be thankful for that. That will always be my very first international booking, and I can't thank him enough for that. If I didn't move to Sheffield and I wasn't able to utilize all the classes, because on Wednesdays, their fundamental sessions are run by Leon Slater, the X Division champion.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the fact that people aren't taking advantage of that is insane. And I don't just mean from like what you can learn. I just mean like he can see you. That's the best wrestler in the world. He can see you and he knows your name. This guy is mates with Jeff Hardy. Like, what are we talking about? But I just think, of course, yes, it's a fundamentals class. And I feel like maybe that throws people off. But it's like, it's not just that. It's hearing him talk, hearing the way he thinks about wrestling. Like, you're not just saying, oh, I'm now to put my feet down for a suplex, thank you. No, it's like you can hear the way he talks about wrestling. He'll talk about little anecdotes from TNA, so you'll find out what they're looking for. Just all these little things that you learn from. And it's so valuable. And like without those sessions, not only would I not be like as fundamentally in tune as I am right now, but also Leon's the person who chose me personally to go to France. Like when Nathan was going, like he was trying to figure out, all right, who do we bring with us? It was Nathan and Leon going. And Leon said he thinks it should be me because he got to see me put in that hard work, you know? So like, again, PPW is a place that I cannot say enough good things about. Fantastic place.
Absolutely. And there's some incredible talent pool there. I mean, like you've got yourself there, you've got Alfie, you've got Skylar Rose, Jet Marshall. Do you know what I mean? There's so many great people, do you know, working there?
Yeah, Jet Marshall, the GOAT, man. Jet Marshall is so good. There's like, I want to have a singles match with that man so bad. He's the most intense little cunt I've ever seen in my life. Like, you're standing there and it's just like, you see him slap his knees and like that intense eyes. I'm like, oh shit, I need to lock in now, you know, I need to get crazy. And that's the type of match I want, you know. I got that this past weekend with wrestling my mate Rogan. The reason I've wanted to wrestle him isn't just because of like personal reasons, it's because he's intense and he thinks he goes snug with the wrestling, you know, like he feels it. And Jet Marshall's the same. So that's why I'd want to get in there with him, because he's an angry little pit bull, you know what I mean? So he's Jet the GOAT, man.
Absolutely. I'm just looking obviously at PPWs, you know, like Instagram. I mean, there's so many like, do you know, seminars. Paul London, do you know what I mean? Leon Slater. Do you know what I mean? I think there was a Spike Trevor one at one point.
Yeah.
So you're always
fantastic.
learning. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, that's again, like you can't say enough good things about it. Like if you went over the good things about PPW for the entire interview, we could, you know. But yeah, they offer session takeovers, they call them, every month, and they just grab in people who are doing well on the UK scene or even America. You know, they had one called Manders, who's the WXW world champion right now, and he was down. That was fantastic. I loved that stuff. But Spike Trevor was another one. Like he had a great seminar, and again, it's these people who like. You see some people who are like top end of British wrestling, but you might not have seen them personally that much. so you don't really know what to expect from their seminars. But then you get there and it's like you take away a whole new way of thinking. So yeah, just very, very valuable.
Absolutely. So after all the seminars and stuff like that, what's some of the biggest things you've learnt yourself?
I think again, it's just hearing out what people have to say, hearing out, like leaving your ego at the door. Like, as much as it's fun to think I know everything, I'm the best, it's just never going to be true unless your name is CM Punk or Randy Orton, or you know, you're one of these top, like I'm talking top, like Roman Reigns, that kind of guy. You have a room to learn, you know. So I think it's just listening to what other people think. Yeah, like I recently, I just sent my friend a match. He's not a wrestling fan. He doesn't even watch wrestling. But I want to hear what a person like that has to say. Like, what are they noticing that I'm not picking up? Like, because I understand my brain can be very like in wrestling. So I'm like, a wrestling trope is something I'll just be going for. But then if a new fan is watching, or someone who's never watched wrestling before is watching it and going, oh, I didn't get that, then that's something I want to take on board, you know? So it's just trying to learn as much as possible.
Awesome. We have to talk about Yorkshire Tough. How did this all begin?
So, Yorkshire Tough as a stable started at North Wrestling, which is a fantastic place, one of my favourite places to work. The atmosphere, unbelievable. But the way the team got started was because Reese got injured. You know, he did something to his eye, and like he wasn't clear to wrestle. So they was thinking who's someone we can replace him with. You know, there was a few names put out there, but Rogan, I'll forever appreciate this. He put me forward. Like, that man puts me forward for a lot, and he helps me with a lot. And this was one of them. Like, this was a huge deal. Like, I almost kind of didn't realize at the time how big North was. I knew it was good, but being in there, it was kind of like a shock to my system of like, I didn't feel, I was kind of on autopilot in that ring, you know. I mean, there's sometimes where I'm thinking about stuff and maybe overthinking to a little bit, where you can see it in my eyes that I'm not there. That first North match, man, was unbelievable. It was me and Rogan with Reese at ringside, but obviously can't wrestle, against Rory Coyle and Liam Slater, two former North champions. We spent like 5 minutes of the match brawling on the outside. It was so much fun. Sorry. And obviously the fans loved Liam Slater and Rory Coyle, so they were up for the entire match. I think if we were against anyone else, they probably wouldn't care about us, you know, at first. But they loved them too, so the crowd was just there for everything. And I was just like, I just felt it. And it's almost like the atmosphere and the vibe and the noise that the crowd were giving me was controlling my body, you know, if that makes any sense. Like, when you get a crowd like that, it's the best thing in the world, because they will just move you. They'll tell you what they want and you'll deliver. Like, if you go in there with some confidence, you will just deliver. Like, you can't, I don't think it's possible to like hear a crowd that's so in your face about what they want, and then just ignore and be like, no, I want to do this instead. I'm okay. Oh, you wanted a body slam? Well, I wanted to do a suplex though. You know, stuff like that. Like, so that's where Yorkshire Tough very first started, and again, so thankful. So we carried that on for a little bit, and then we moved into we ended up enjoying working together so much, because that's a real life friendship that goes back like 7 years. We ended up enjoying it so much that we brought it to Fight Factory Wrestling, and they liked the idea, so we started doing it there. And then BWR saw that and was like, oh, that's cool, and we know you guys are actually friends, let's put you guys together here. So we've had matches there where we had like a 6-man tables match, Yorkshire Tough versus Violence Party. So much fun, you know. It's just getting to work with your mates is so much fun, and that's how, yeah, North is originally where it started, but yeah, it kind of just like jumped promotion to promotion, and we were having a hell of a lot of fun with it until I broke it up at Fight Factory.
I also love the fact that, like I said, you mentioned the crowd reactions. Like, the Fight Factory one sticks out for me. Like, you guys walk out, and some people don't know if to boo you or cheer you, even though you're heels.
Yeah, that's it, because we're bad at our job. That's it. They just come out and there's absolute silence. No, yeah, I mean, some people do just like react how they want, but like, I'm always trying to, if I'm a good guy, I'll try my best to get you to cheer me. If I'm a bad guy, I'm going to do everything I can to get you to boo me, you know, that kind of thing. As much as it is cool to just be like, ooh, these people just like me because I'm cool, I don't want to be cool. I'm not cool. I'm a very uncool person. I just love wrestling.
Now, you mentioned BWR. We have to talk about that. You've had a really great journey. I mean, I think you've had the world title shot against Scotty Rourke. You won a Rumble for that. You've obviously won the open weight. Incredible journey there, man.
Oh, absolutely, yeah, man. BWR has been like a big part of my career. Like, obviously, I mentioned the Evo Academy. Obviously, that's part of BWR. So I actually started on their Evo shows. Like, they'd have academy shows. They don't run anymore, but they used to run these Evo shows where it'd be purely Evo people, and that was almost, the shows would be like, without me realizing it, kind of centered around me. You know, I was given the first championship. They did a whole tournament that was built around me. Like, I won 3 matches in one night and won the Evo championship. That was an unbelievable night for me. That was like, almost felt like a glimpse into what's to come and stuff, you know. Because the crowd that night was so much fun. I had the best time. So yeah, BWR has been a great part of my journey. So to start on these Evo shows, and then a few years later, again, never forget where you came from. Ever. Just if you ever get like upset about your place in wrestling, or you get lost about your place in wrestling, remember the kid on the trampoline. You know, I remember when I used to wrestle my cousin on the trampoline. You know, giving him like 7 pop-up power bombs, putting him in the STFU, and he's like, "All right, I'm tapping out," and I'm like, "No, I'm a bad guy, so I have to keep it on you." You know, I remember doing stuff like that. And I remember how I felt just doing that, just having that fun. So now to be on shows is an unbelievable honor to me. But then to be on a show like the auditorium, like there was over 600 people in that building, and they saw me win a championship. Like, people tell you wins and losses don't matter. Like, it still feels good to have like 600 plus people cheering for you. Like, that's a feeling you can't shake. Like, that was a great moment for me. I had a lot of fun, and it was one of the first times that I'd invited a group of friends to the show. You know, like actual real life friends. I'm not saying that wrestling friends aren't real life friends, just different. You know. But yeah, that was just a very, very overwhelming night for me, because it just felt very rewarding. It felt to be trusted in that position, like I was very, very cool for me. Because I feel like I put a lot of hard work into getting the crowd behind me at BWR, because I don't feel the most confident as a good guy. You know, like it almost feels weird to be like, cheer me, please, I'm begging. But I've got to a point with the BWR audience, and they've got to a point where they're cheering for me now, and they're one of the first audiences that when I shout "Yes, King," they shout it back to me. And like, that's a catchphrase that I started doing, like as a kid. You know, and now they're shouting it back to me. They're shouting my catchphrase back to me, like I'd shout "It's clobbering time" on CM Punk's entrance. That's so humbling. You know, again, you forget these things when you go into France, or when you go into Italy. You forget that, like, you were a kid who loved this. And I'm more than happy to admit I'm still a kid who loves it. I am just obsessed with wrestling. I'm still a massive fan. But I've worked hard. I've worked very hard for this. You know, I think I'm a very capable wrestler. But moments like this aren't lost on me. This is crazy. This is so cool that I get to be able to do stuff like this.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think you said it best there. I mean, you can see the emotion just in that picture alone.
Oh man, absolutely. Yeah, it was yeah, very, very cool. Again, to have some of my real life friends there, and like knowing that things had turned out the way I wanted them to. Like, I'd had the fun that I thought I was going to have. I was proud of the match. So to know that I'd brought them over here, and then I gave them a performance I could be proud of, I was like, come on, let's go. All right. Just very, very happy with that night.
Absolutely. Is that on YouTube to watch, or will it be out soon at that?
No, it's on BWR on demand very, very soon. I've seen a few clips being shared online. There's a highlight reel from Mark Ashley Films, but the actual footage from it will be available on BWR on demand pretty soon.
I'm definitely going to recommend it. I'm going to watch myself. It just looks like an incredible show.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. Yeah, it was a lot of fun, very fun crowd.
Absolutely. So I want to talk a little bit about the fan base and stuff like that. So when it comes to wrestling, what's one thing you think fans will never understand when it comes to wrestling?
It's weird. I don't know. I think that's kind of a weird question in terms of, like, it feels like I'm putting myself above people, you know, like I'm being like, here's what you don't understand, stupid, you know. Just the ins and outs. I think sometimes they won't understand that, like, when a wrestler does a certain thing that's such a little detail, fans probably won't realize that it's a little detail that they're doing on purpose, you know, but it'll be making them feel a certain way, and it'll draw them in without them realizing they're being drawn in, you know, just a real silly things like that you can't really understand until you start doing it. Because I could obviously just say, oh, you won't understand that landing on your back hurts. Of course they can fucking understand that. Everyone understands that. If I fall over and hit the back of my head, is it going to hurt the back of my head? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it is. But yeah, I think little things like that, like certain nuances of professional wrestling, those are maybe things that you can't really get until you're in it.
Yeah, I've always said the wrestling match is like a journey. Do you know what I mean? Taking them on that journey away.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's emotional roller coaster is definitely the way I'd put a wrestling match, or at least my favorite kinds of wrestling matches. You know, I love a good slugfest, a good physical back and forth. But yeah, an emotional roller coaster is absolutely what a professional wrestling match should be, I think.
Absolutely, stuff like that. So many injuries.
Hey, this desk is made out of wood, so touch this. No, not yet. I shouldn't say not yet. No, never. Okay, touch wood. No, I've hit my head a few times. As recently as this Saturday. Yeah, I've hit my head a few times. I've had potential concussions that I've never like gone out of my way to check if they are concussions. So like I felt like I may be concussed, nothing like that. But yeah, never touch wood, never broken a bone. Never been had to miss a show because I'm hurt. You know, no serious illnesses. So yeah, I work. I like to work like a snug sort of style. Well, you'll feel my stuff. But I work hard to make sure I'll be able to do this for a long time, you know, because like I'm aware I'm quite young. I'm aware that starting as young as I did probably isn't the best idea for my body. So I try to take care of it as much as I can, and I try to like work around the possibility of dying, you know, like breaking neck, like. So yeah, luckily, no injuries. Again, touch wood.
There we go. There we go. So for people obviously listening who's not familiar with yourself, who is HMD the character?
So HMD the character has gone through a lot of ups and downs. So originally this started when I was 14. Just some cocky chav who thought he could batter everyone. It was just like, yeah, mate, I'll batter you. You know, I'm a hard man, Dan. I'll suplex you, nan. You're done, mate. Stuff like that. You know, dumb. But it's kind of I've tried to evolve it. So that because I have a lot of goals in wrestling, and I think being comedic like that can like sort of, or at least for me, it's just not what I want to do, you know. So I've tried to evolve the character in a way that's like it's kind of just a similar premise of someone who like wants to be seen as this hard guy, you know, or wants to be seen as, you know. I think that's it. It's just someone who wants to be seen, you know. Like realistically, I think the reason he's a loudmouth, you know, the reason he's like wants to fight everyone is because he wants to show everyone who he is, you know. I think there's a real. I'm trying to tap in to the character and try and make it as like as me as possible, because there's a real thing in there with me where like I put in this hard work and I kind of need people to see that, you know. I kind of don't want to put in hard work if no one's going to notice. I don't think there's any point of being a very, very, very good professional wrestler if no one's going to notice, you know what I mean? I really want to be seen. So I think Hardman Dan, or HMD, wants to be seen as hard. He wants to be seen as tough. You might not think he's the toughest man in the world, but he wants to be seen it. So that's why he'll be this loudmouth. That's why he'll be like this cocky grin on his face. That's why he's got a cocky grin on his face and he gets mugged off like getting slapped. He'll be like, shit, he'll get embarrassed and he'll lash out and get angry and he'll give you these punches, you know. I'm currently trying to push for the letters HMD to stand for hungry, motivated, and driven. Because I think overall, that's what my character, or that's what I want to be seen as. You know, I want to be seen as hungry, motivated, and driven. I want to fight to be seen as hungry, motivated, and driven. Plain and simple, I want to fight so that people can see that I am HMD and there's not a man like me. So that's the thought process behind the character, I think.
I love it. I think straight to the point. For some reason, when you said the D part, I thought determination.
No, I got none of that. No, driven, absolutely. I think, yeah, driven's probably. I feel uncomfortable giving myself credit sometimes. But I think a lot of people have told me that I've got a lot of drive and I'm driven, and like it feels weird to accept compliments from me. But like the more I think about it, it's just like it is true. I haven't stopped in 7 years since I was 14, despite it being physically hard for me. Like I always say, I wasn't born for this. I really was not born for this. Like athletically, this does not come natural to me. It took me 4 years to get on a show. It doesn't take a lot of people that long, but it took me 4 years to get on a show. This wasn't something I was born for. This was something I was built for because I stay hungry, motivated, and driven. I think that's just, yeah. I think I don't know what it is. Yeah, it's the passion for wrestling just gives me this drive that I don't have in any other parts of my life. Like nothing makes me feel this way about wrestling. Nothing gives me a determination like wrestling. So I just think when I found those letters and to stand with HMD, like it just felt right. So that's kind of, you know, I'm sure there are different words like nope, don't have any, but I'm sure there are other words. Those are what felt right to use. You know, so I'm going to try and push that over the next few months, and hopefully within a few months, that's what people will see HMD standing for.
I love it. I love it. So we obviously got knock all the fan questions out now. So we got two from obviously Scott Bell. Obviously, it's a two-parter. You kind of touched on obviously some of your favourite moments, but he wants to know what has been your most favourite moment so far. Is it the BWR one, I presume?
I don't know, man. There's been so many favourite moments. I think wrestling in France was unbelievable. I think a lot of my favourite moments aren't the moments on the shows, it's the moments I get to myself after. I always make sure when I'm really proud of a performance to take myself away from everyone real quick. Like even if it's just to like a bathroom on my own, or just like, you know, in a hallway somewhere. I just feel it. Like I don't know what it is, but after a performance I'm really proud of, I'm just in this state of euphoria where I'm just like, I spend a lot of my outside of wrestling time just thinking. Like my brain goes pretty 24/7. It's a bit unbearable sometimes, to be honest. But after a wrestling match, I'm just sat there. I'm not thinking about anything. I'm just like, man, that was the best thing ever. You know. Sometimes I get emotional, and like I don't think that's a thing that there should be any shame to. Like I'm very glad that I can have something that makes me feel that way. That I get to control. You know. Because I wanted this for a long time. I wanted all of it, and I've worked for it, and now I'm getting to feel the benefits from it. So I should be able to just sit there, feel emotional, and feel what I feel after a wrestling match. So I think those, like, I'd love to say, oh, it's winning a championship in front of 600 plus people. I'd love to say it's wrestling in France with Leon Slater. I'd love to say it's Italy, but it's those moments that I get to myself where I just get to be proud, and I just get to be thankful for what I've done.
Absolutely. And the second part was you've obviously been in many things and stuff like this. What's the best piece of advice you've been given?
It's more of a personal one. It's just it was Leon Slater who said it. He said that when you go far away, like to a place like a France or in Italy, he says wrestling is the worst part. And at first I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? But what he means is like just enjoy being around your friends and being around people who are like-minded and love wrestling. Like enjoy the moments outside of the ring. And I'm sure, like, at first I took it as like, oh, Leon Slater hates wrestling. But no, like, I know he clearly loves wrestling. I love professional wrestling. We all love professional wrestling. But you got to think about your life outside of the ring as well. You know, you got to enjoy your life outside of the ring. You can't just be like, all right, I'm stressed right now. But once I get in that ring for 10 minutes, then I'll be happy. Because then you're just going to have 10 minutes out of the day where you're happy. You know what I mean? You got to kind of enjoy it all, which I'm very much trying to do. And it's been very helpful. And like, again, that comes from those moments I talked about earlier where I'll come back after a wrestling show and I'll just feel what I feel. I'll just let myself feel it, you know? So I think that's probably my best advice. It's a lot less like professional and more personal.
Okay. Simon Gibbs says, most funny chant you've heard?
Most funny chant? I always get soft man Dan, man. It pisses me off. I'm sick of it. Soft man Dan. I got soft southern bastard at North, which was great. I got fucking hell. I completely forgot about this until now. So I wrestled Trent Seven at North like a year ago. It was a lot of great fun. It was the first like high profile match I'd really had. Super lovely guy as well. Oh my god, can't say enough good things about him. But I did a lock up with him. I pushed him back, and then like just the kid. This wasn't planned, but like the kid in me wanted to do his taunt, you know, the thing. But I'd shaven recently, so he started chanting, "Where's your mustache?" He was like, "Where's your mustache?" But while he started chanting that, in between it, Trent would shout, "Where's your pubes?" And I was like, "What the fuck is this guy on about?" So they started chanting, "Where's your pubes?" And I was like, "What the fuck is like?" And that doesn't sound like that's not really my humor. So I'm literally just sitting in the ring like, "What the fuck are you on about?" That's so weird. Like, you're a fucking freak, bro. Calm down. So I'd probably say most people would find that the funniest.
I don't even know what to go with that one.
Yep, me neither. Next question.
Next one comes from the almighty _sledge bro. It says,
Like,
who do you want to defend your BWR Open title against and why?
Oh, mate, it's an open challenge title. Anyone. You Sledge Bro, mate. Let's go. No, yeah, would it be an open challenge? Like, anyone and everyone. Like, I want to name these high profile people, but there's people in that Evo Academy that I'm like, I was in that position once. Please come forward. There's a few people I've seen in there. You know, there's some high profile names at BWR. If I was talking like completely honesty, it's a bit harder now that he's just won the Rev Pro title, but Ricky Knight Jr. is someone that I faced very young. I was 18 years old when I wrestled Ricky Knight Jr. He was my 18th match on a show. 18 matches in, I'm wrestling Ricky Knight Jr. Crazy experience. But I'd love to wrestle him right now. But I think the answer I'm going to go with is CM Punk.
I had a feeling you'd say something like that. The one name will come to my mind straight away was Miles.
Oh, I'd love to wrestle Miles. Yeah, obviously, like, I think the reason his name doesn't come to mind instantly is because he's unfortunately injured at the moment. But yeah, I wrestled Miles once. Funny enough, it was the night before I wrestled Ricky Knight Jr. I wrestled him, and we had a main event, and like, I remember at the time he said it was one of his favorite matches, which was like very humbling for a guy with 17 matches in. Yeah, I'd love to run it back with Miles. I think he's one of those guys that I was talking about earlier where fans won't really understand when people do little things that draw you in without you realizing. Miles is a fucking master of that. These little things, Miles is fantastic. It'd be an honor to wrestle Miles.
Now, should we get Ian Skinner's question out of the way?
Let's go.
It is, would you rather have unlimited bacon but no more video games, or games, unlimited games but no games?
That's a tough one. I do like bacon. I do like bacon quite a lot. But games, unlimited games, but not games. You know, it's a tough one. I think games. What? Help me out. What do you think you'd choose?
I'll be honest, when he asked me this, he stumped me. Even I couldn't answer this one.
No, you got an answer.
I don't know. I generally don't. This is one of those things which stumped me even after I interviewed him.
All right, cool. So let's just say, are you a fan of games?
I love games.
All right, so let's say you're a fan of games. So let's give you unlimited games, but fair warning, no
No
games.
games.
So I think that's my answer. Bacon.
Yeah. Okay. Right to the point. So we've got a comment in from Wrestle Wellbeing, and it says the following. It says, what specific challenges related to mental health have you faced in with the wrestling industry?
Jesus Christ! All right, mate, calm down. No, that's actually a really good question, and I think it's important to talk about stuff like that. Mate, all the above, really. I think a lot of wrestlers don't talk about it, but it's very important to talk about. Like a lot of mental health challenges come with professional wrestling. They come with life as well. You know, I'm not saying wrestling created these problems, but I think I've definitely had performance anxiety before. Like I'm a very confident wrestler. Like when I'm in training, I know that I can move around. It's just, but sometimes I'm out there and like I get a tightness in my chest, and it's like, oh, I can't. My vocals aren't working today. You know, I can't like. Usually when I'm throwing a strike, like I'm shouting with it, but today there's a tightness in my chest and I can't really get as loud. And then I watch it back and be like, I can see it in my eyes that I'm not there. You know. So yeah, I've faced challenges with mental health and professional wrestling. Absolutely. Yeah, not being happy with your physique, not being happy with your performance. And the thing is, the thing I always find is if you're insecure or unhappy about a match that you did yesterday and you've just got the footage back and you're unhappy about it, chances are, if you look back on it in 6 months, you'll look back and be like, oh, that moved well. You know, that I did well. Is that what I was beating myself up over? You know? So it's just really a case of just like putting things into perspective very much helps me. You know, like like I said, remembering that you were the kid on the trampoline playing with your cousin, you know, that kind of stuff helps me realize like, okay, I'm fine where I am right now. We'll get to better places. And, you know, I'm not going to get to better places tomorrow. You know, there's a lot of times where wrestling career goes up, but then it stays like that, or sometimes it'll just come down. You know, it's very much a wave, and you got to ride it when you're riding it. You know, like that's why I made sure to take those little moments after a big show like the auditorium. You know, I made sure to enjoy it because I was like, all right, the next week I could be doing nothing. You know, like, and to be honest, for like a few weeks afterwards, it was quite dry. Like I Thunderstruck, great example. I was at Thunderstruck last year, not for North Wrestling, but I was just watching. You know, I was just watching Reese and Rogan, and I was so happy for them, but it was heartbreaking to not be on that show because I want to be in front of the crowd like that. It's not out of jealousy. It's not out of looking at someone and being like, I can do that better. It's just a case of, man, I wish I could be in front of that crowd. I wish they could see me right now, you know? So in my head, I was like, I need to be on the next one. And then the next year, I was on it, you know, because I just stayed hungry, motivated, and driven, you know? And it's taking moments after like that, to just be like, I worked hard for something and I did it, you know? Even though I can look back on the match at Thunderstruck now and be like, there's things to pick apart. You can still overall go, I did that. I wanted that and I did that. So yeah, mental health struggles are a big part of my life in professional wrestling, but you just don't stop, you know. You don't let yourself burn out, but just don't let it kill passion, you know. When it gets to a point where it's like that, just take a breather, find some perspective, you know. And yeah, I applause to anyone who like fights with struggles like that and then still continues to do what they love, because it's when you put all your eggs into the fucking basket that is wrestling, you're asking for fucking trouble because of that fucking wave. If you put your entire mentality on professional wrestling, it's so easy for it to crash. So enjoy life outside of wrestling as well, you know, like message your mates, plan something with them, you know, just make sure you're having some fucking fun, you know.
100%. And Wrestle Wellbeing obviously does an incredible podcast, obviously with wrestlers opening up about mental health. So everybody watching this wants to obviously reach out to him, do so, do you know what I mean? He will listen, and do you know what I mean? Because like you said there, the best thing to do is obviously speak about it.
Absolutely, yeah. Like I hadn't heard about them before, but like that's really cool, and I find that really important. I think it's super important to just be honest when you're struggling and be honest when you're fighting. And if you're fighting all the time, that's fine. You can talk about it. No one's going to think you're a fucking drip. No one's going to think you're blah blah. It's chances are most of us are fighting too, so we can talk about it and we can be open about it. And it's cool to just like, it doesn't have to be like turn into a therapy session, but we can just talk about it. And it just, because I know I've had talks about it where I've talked to someone about my struggle and I've been just like real normal about it, and they've been real normal about it, and it's just like, I guess it is just normal, because it really is. But just don't stop fighting.
100%. That's an incredible thing and stuff like that. So you mentioned obviously CM Punk and stuff like that. I mean, how did you feel when he went back to WWE?
Oh my fucking god! Let's go. I was sat on the couch like right to my fucking side. It was like 4 a.m. I was knackered. I was sat there like this, like, yay, Damian Priest got pinned. Who fucking cares? Oh my fucking god! Woke my mum up. Dog's crying. What's going on? Fucking best night of my life. Exaggeration, but yeah, I was so happy that he came back. The run that he's been on right now has been incredible. Match we've gone through was great. I loved him getting cashed in on. My boy's lost his title, but it's very exciting television whenever CM Punk's on television. And no one makes me believe more than he makes me believe. So that's someone I look up to so much, and like trying to use as much as your real personality and your real emotion into wrestling and promos as you can. And the thing is, I have obviously never met the man. This could be a completely made up thing, but he makes me believe that that's him, and that's wrestling. So yeah, he's just my goat forever.
And I mean, one thing you can never take away from him is how good he is on the mic.
Oh man, he's the absolute man. I can't say enough. You can see me getting giddy about the goat, but like, yeah, I can't say enough good things about him.
Incredible. So obviously being a wrestler and stuff like that, do you get the chance to watch much wrestling from like a fan's point of view?
Yeah, mate. Yeah, I never stop being a fan. I know a lot of people, like, when they get into wrestling, they stop watching WWE and stuff. Like that's fine. Like I understand. When I first got into it, I assumed everyone wanted to be in WWE. That's actually not the case at all. Like some people, not that they aren't interested, but they're just like, it's not a goal for me, Whereas me, like, I still love WWE. Like I watch SummerSlam, like I still watch all the pay-per-views live. I watch Monday Night Raw live. I watch SmackDown live. Sometimes catch up with NXT. Like I watch wrestling all the time. I love WWE so much. So yeah, I absolutely catch up.
Awesome. What do you reckon now? Also with Triple H in charge?
Yeah, I enjoy the product a lot. There's definitely things you enjoy more than others, but yeah, I'm really enjoying the product at the minute. John Cena versus Cody Rhodes, I had a ton of fun watching it. I felt like a kid again. You know what I mean? So yeah, I just love watching wrestling. Even I don't stop being a fan. Like a lot of people, I feel like, I don't want to say scared. I'm putting words in the mouth, but like a lot of people don't like to show that they're fans, or at least don't like to be fans. And it's like, I don't know if they feel like the perception of them will get like okay, I love wrestling. I love watching wrestling. I am a fan. But this is the thing, they think, I feel like people think admitting that you're a fan means that you're just a fan. I know I'm not just a fan. I'm also a professional wrestler. And I think a very competent professional wrestler. But I'm still a fan. And I'm still that kid on the trampoline. I still love professional wrestling. It's fine. Just admit it. Let the weight off your shoulders, brother. We all love it. CM Punk, right? The GOAT, Just, yeah, I'm a fan forever, mate.
We have to talk about Brock Lesnar and stuff like that because it's caused a lot of divide. What do you think?
Do we have to talk about Brock Lesnar?
No, you can skip the question if you want.
Hey, I'm using it. Next question.
Oh, dear. See, that's the first time that's ever been used.
Really?
Yeah.
Jesus, well.
Moving on. Let's swiftly move on, shall we? So, before you obviously go out and perform, man, I mean, how do you get yourself like into the zone?
Oh, mate. I need to find new ways. So, I've tried a lot of different ways. I've tried just calming my brain and then just walking out there. I've tried just breathing, staying, and then locking in like last minute. And more recently, I've tried a more different approach, which Nathan Black tells me I need to change because we were getting ready for Thunderstruck, this big scramble match. There's like 8 of us, and like I knew what I wanted to portray was intense wrestling and it just have some intensity in me. And sometimes, unfortunately, when it comes to like performance anxiety and like there's that tightness in your chest, which I've been getting quite a bit recently. Like sometimes it's not very bad. Sometimes I just walk out and it's like I am so fine. But sometimes I do get that tightness in my chest. And when I have that, unfortunately, I can be a bit of a shouter and a bit like a need to get it out and like I need to move my body a lot. I need to just open up all my space so that like that tightness in my chest can leave. So yeah, sometimes I can get a bit weird with my pre-match warm-ups. I can do a lot of shouting, a lot of moving, a lot of trying to punch the invisible man. It's not stuff I'm overly proud of, but yeah, headbutt in the air is definitely one that I do. So not the greatest. I'll find different ways, but right now that's the vibe we're on.
Let's turn that question 180. How do you wind down after a match?
It's like I said earlier. It's just taking myself to myself and just being like, we did that, man. We done it. You know, happy with it, not happy with it. It's just taking some space to myself because I kind of like. I feel like I'm quite social in general, but right after a match, I'm like, there's nothing worse than having a conversation with me because it's kind of just like, you'll get like one-word answers, or it'll just be like, I'm just very. The word Zen feels weird because it's not anything I believe in, but it is very much just like I'm very, 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 very calm. So I just kind of, I just need to sit to myself, check my phone, or just have a drink, just sit there, really.
Okay, so a few little more questions, mate. Also begin to wind down and stuff like that. I mean, you've done so much, like I said at the start. You've also been around the world and stuff like that. What's next for you, man?
Everything, hopefully. I got a lot of goals in professional wrestling, and I have no doubt that I'm going to do them because I'm going to continue to stay hungry, motivated, and driven. Yeah, man, I want to do so much. My ultimate goal is WWE. I want to keep learning how I'm able to get there. I want to keep learning how I'm able to become someone that they want to look at, someone that they need. Before I do that, I want to do everything I can in Britain, you know? So, like, it'd be silly of me to go, I want to do WWE, so I'm going to look past all the things I want to do in Britain. Like, I want to work for Progress. I want to work for Rev Pro. I want to become consistent at North. I'd very much like to get to a point where when you talk about the best professional wrestlers in the country, I'd like to get to a point where my name is brought up, you know? And I'm not saying that can be done in a week's time or a month's time, and I'm not saying that'll be done soon. I'm just saying I'd like to get to a point where that's done. I'd like to work hard to get to that point. Because that's a goal and that's something I want. And when I talk about these professional wrestlers that I'm excited to see or that are in my top 10, I like the idea that people are doing that about me. So that's my British wrestling long-term goal, I'd say, is get to that point.
So is there any people you'd like to get in the ring with? You got like a top three?
Mate. Top three. I think number one has to be Leon Slater. He's just the man. I told him after North because I asked him if he had any feedback for my match. And he's just, I don't know what it is that I've done to make him so complimentary of my work, but he's just been always so cool about me. He's been a big help to my career with his feedback and stuff. And he's very cool. And I think a lot of people, when they talk about Leon Slater, they talk about him like, oh, that's crazy. It's unreachable what he's doing. And it's like, to an extent, sure. I just think you can't think like that. You got to think like that's achievable and that you can get to a Leon Slater level. Like, he's very much someone who is like, he's born for this. You know, he's absolutely born for this. But that's not to put away his hard work. He's been wrestling since he was 9 years old. You know, he's a very, very, very hard worker. But I've started telling him, and anytime I share something to do with him, I'll always say this. For me, he's the goalpost. He's not this unreachable thing. He's something I'm trying to work to be towards. Like I want people to talk about me the same way they talk about Leon Slater. But I'm gonna. And some people might think that's impossible, and it might even sound cringe to say, but everything's cringe until you win, right? Everything's cringe until you do it. So I'm going to keep working until I do it. So Leon Slater, absolutely, for like a professional standpoint of, man, I just want to prove myself and stuff. Another one, oh my God, I'd love to wrestle Luke Jacobs. He is so good, man. I'd love to wrestle Luke. He's just that style of wrestling is just so fun. Like as much as I love the WWE style, like his aggression, his intensity. Again, I want those matches where like you look across the ring and like there's no like smile, like, hey, we're two wrestlers. We were just together in the back. This is like, oh, he's gonna kill me. All right, well, I'm gonna kill him. Nice one. I'm gonna fight him. I'm gonna fuck me up or fuck you up. Let's go. I want that, and I need stuff like that, So Leon Slater, Luke Jacobs. I would have said Rampage Brown, but I got to wrestle him recently, so I'm very happy with that. I got to wrestle him at NGW at Hull City Hall, which was a huge achievement for me. So it's hard to say that. I guess I'd really, again, Rogan was one of them, but I just got to wrestle him recently. Jet Marshall is one that I said, but I've said it earlier, so I'm not going to cop out and do that. I'd love to wrestle Liam Slater. He's my coach at the moment, and I truly believe he's unbelievable. He's a better wrestler than people ever realize, and people realize that he's a good wrestler. That's how good he is. I think some of the work he's doing right now is unbelievable. It's drawing me in as a fan, not as a professional wrestler. So if I'm caring about his matches as a fan, I'm just trying to think how much I'd care about it wrestling him. So I guess Leon Slater, Luke Jacobs, Liam Slater. Little Slater sandwich right there.
I love it. So one thing we've not talked about is the wrestling scene as a whole in the UK. I mean, everyone says it's in a really like boom period. Would you agree with that?
Currently, no. Like right now, I wouldn't say so. I'd actually say it's almost struggling a little bit. I don't know if struggling's a word, but it doesn't feel like anything's booming right now and popping off. I feel like the closest thing to it is obviously been Leon winning the X Division championship, but that was in America. But I feel like that doesn't mean that British wrestling is dying by any means. It just means, again, personal careers are a wave, but also the business as a whole is a wave. Like sometimes British wrestling's going boom, sometimes it's staying up here, sometimes it's going down here, sometimes it's staying here. It just happens, and I feel like right now it's a bit like we're in a bit of a quiet period, and I don't think that's going to last very long. It'll very much could start booming, like as much as like in a week or something. I think when people start doing fresh and cool new things, I think that's when people start like getting excited again. I think PPW's upcoming show, Friday Night Pursuit, is a very cool new thing. And it's going to save professional wrestling. No, I'm not saying that, but it's like it's a very cool thing. Like when I was told about the idea, like I got very excited again as a fan, not as a wrestler. So I'm looking forward to seeing what they do with Friday Night Pursuit, seeing who they bring there. So yeah, I don't know if I'd agree that professional wrestling or British wrestling is in a boom period right now. But again, it's a wave, so that could change in like a week or two.
You never know, right? And now I'm going to be at this obviously event, so I can't wait to see. Obviously, what's going to happen.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Friday Night Pursuit's going to be great. I think just the idea behind it is so different. When I was listening to it, I was like, really, you're gonna do this? But not really as in like a really, that's weird, but really as in like a you can do this. Is that a thing? So yeah, I can't wait. I'm sure a lot of people are, I'm sure there's a lot of mixed feelings about it, but I think, again, I'm sure you'd be able to tell from me talking, like, I just love professional wrestling. I'm so passionate about professional wrestling, and I feel like the vibe that I'm getting from this is there's going to be a lot of very cool professional wrestling. So I'm looking forward to it.
Absolutely. So one final question, maybe obviously as we head off and stuff like that, is there's a lot of people obviously thinking about getting into wrestling. What advice would obviously you give them?
Do it. Just fucking do it. Stop thinking about it. Just look up a school right now. Right now. Just look it up. Go do it. Go try your first time. If you didn't feel good the first time, maybe go back a second week. Just feel it. But just go. Don't just think about it. PPW is a fantastic place to get started. But it's not the only school in the world, you know. There's a lot of places, but I just think find somewhere that works for you. But just fucking do it. If you do want to, I'm not saying everyone here, you all have to start wrestling. All here. All two of the people that want to listen to me. Yeah, you. But yeah, just go out and find a place that does it and just fucking do it, because it's the most, when you stick to it, it's just the most rewarding, most amazing, just the best thing in the world.
And that's a great thing to end on. HMD, it's been an absolute blast, mate. I hope you've enjoyed yourself today.
Absolutely, mate. Thank you very much for having me.
Not a problem. So I need a couple of things from you. So one, is there anything you'd like to plug?
Just my Instagram. It's Hardmandan, or you can just type in HMD and you should be able to find me. Twitter is dead. You can find me if you want, but it's dead. Facebook is dead. You can find me if you want, but it's dead. But Instagram's the one. So if you'd like to follow me and you'd like to see where I end up, please keep following, because I feel like I plan on having a very long journey. So let's follow that. Please do.
Awesome. So what we'll do is we'll put the link in the description of this video so people can jump from that to go and support you. How's that?
I appreciate it a lot, mate. Thank you.
Awesome. So one final thing, man, is everyone I interview gets to do the outro for this show. They can say anything they want. They can promote anything you want, and I will end the stream. HMD, over to you.
CM Punk is the GOAT. Thank you. Goodbye.